Hello, it's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fault. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
Dreamers, the children who were brought here, as you know, by their parents. Should they be worried that they could be deported? And is there anything you can say to assure them right now that they'll be allowed to stay?
They shouldn't be very worried. They are here illegally. They shouldn't be very worried. I do have a big heart. We're going to take care of everybody. We're going to have a very strong border. We're going to have a very solid border. Where you have great people that are here that have done a good job, they should be far less worried. I want the children that are growing up in the United States to be dreamers also. They're not dreaming. The executive order gets rescinded. One good thing
You'll rescind that one too?
One good thing
You'll rescind the Dream Act executive order.
Have to.
DACA.
We have to make a whole new set of standards. And when people come in, they have to come in.
So you're going to split up families?
Chuck,
You're going to deport children?
Chuck, no. We're going to keep the families together. We have to keep the families together.
But you're going to keep them together out?
But they have to go.
What if they have no place to go?
We will work with them. They have to go.
It's still not clear.
Chuck, it'll work out so well. You will be so happy. In 4 years, you're going to be interviewing me, and you're going to say, what a great job you've done, President Trump.
What about the Dreamers?
Okay.
What about the Dreamers?
We're going to try and take care of the Dreamers very, very much.
President, thank you for your time.
We're going to show great heart. DACA is a very, very difficult subject for me. I will tell you. To me, it's one of the most difficult subjects I have because you have these incredible kids. In many cases, not in all cases. In some of the cases, they're having DACA and they're gang members and they're drug dealers too.
No, they're not.
But you have some absolutely incredible kids. I would say mostly.
A decision on DACA?
Sometime today or over the weekend, we'll have a decision.
Should Dreamers be worried?
We love the Dreamers. We love everybody. Thank you very much. The DACA situation is a very, very difficult thing for me. Because, I love these kids. I love kids. I have kids and grandkids.
I'm here today to announce that the program known as DACA that was effectuated under the Obama administration is being rescinded.
You're an idiot.
Seriously, dude. Seriously. Can you believe this? Happy Tuesday, everybody. Happy Tuesday. Oh, my God. All right, so we're sorry about Friday. We lost our internets. If you want this thing to be on, fiber optics, that costs money. Just saying. Doesn't have to be. We can go along like this and be at the mercy of the cable companies. Or we could get this thing on fiber optic and hope for the best. All right. That said, listen, there are two things on my mind today. And one is children and the other is children. I mean, first of all, Jeff Sessions invoking the rule of law and respect for it after he lied under oath to Congress. Oh, that's rich. To have these people talk to me about the rule of law after Donald Trump ran fraudulent universities, violated civil rights laws, was told by the court not to do it anymore, did it again. And Jeff Sessions obviously, voluntarily lied to Al Franken when he was asked about, did you have any meetings with Russians? And, Al didn't even ask him that. He was reading from an article and said, if any of this is true, would this be bad? Well, I don't know about Russians. I didn't meet with any Russian. I mean, for them to lecture us about the rule of law, the justice system in this country has many, many different levels. And the kids on DACA and the families that are going to be broken up because of this ridiculous decision, they don't get to the same kind of justice that, let's say, a Trump gets. And he was convicted of running a fraudulent university. You know who did that, right? Is the same guy that's, Eric Schneiderman in New York that's teamed up with Mueller. Hurry up, Mueller! Hurry up, please, honey. I'm getting old. You're 73. President's doing this DACA thing, rescinding, and threatening people. So that, and then there's this massive hurricane, another storm, unprecedented storm, okay? The one that hit Houston, Harvey, that was unprecedented. No one had ever seen rainfall like that, remember? And it hovered, and it lingered, and it lingered. Donald Trump went back to Texas this weekend to tell everybody how much he's in love with Harvey. What a good time he's having. It was a wonderful thing for him. It ticked all his boxes.
It's been really nice. It's been a wonderful thing. It's as tough as this was. It's been a wonderful thing. I think even for the country to watch and for the world to watch.
It's been a wonderful thing. Beautiful.
Have a good time, everybody.
Have a good time.
Be doing a little help over here. Say. They're really happy with what's going on.
Everybody's really happy with what's going on. Hey, Houston, you really happy with what's going on? How about you, Beaumont? Woo! He had a great time, everybody. He had a great time. Have a good time. He's so out of touch. He's so out of touch. He lives in an arena where justice looks different than the arena in which we all toil, okay? Justice for us, I mean, you could be unarmed, you could be in your car, you could have a broken taillight. If you're white, you'll survive. If you're black, not so much. And God help you if you're in Maricopa County and you're brown. See? And you're brown. By the way, Joe Arpaio brought one of the first suits against DACA, just so you know, the guy that just got pardoned. I mean, you talk about rule of law. Here's a man who violated hundreds and hundreds of people's civil rights. He gets a pardon from the president. So, okay, that said, today Jeff Sessions said he is rescinding DACA. No, not Trump. Trump did not get in front of the camera. Trump didn't take ownership of this. Trump is, he's punting to his own team. And they're going to fumble, baby. He's punting to his own team, and he's telling Congress that they got to fix it. Now, when's the last time we saw immigration reform in this country? Oh, let's see. I don't think I can remember. I don't think I'm old enough. I don't. Yeah, it was way before these kids were born. I mean, it's just unbelievable, right? And so now he has, you know, given them, he's rescinded DACA. Jeff Sessions was put on the TV because Donald Trump wants cover. He wants to go down as being on both sides of this issue so that if DACA doesn't pass and he's got to deport 819,000 kids, right? 819 people who are now functioning in our society by virtue of the DACA law. They have to be. By virtue of the requirements of the work permit, that is DACA, okay? All DACA does is give you permission to work. It does not give you amnesty, as Idiot Boy said this morning on the TV. Jeff Sessions, the guy that we look up to when we want to know about rule of law issues, right? Yeah, Beauregard knows. Beauregard knows. He can lie under oath. He can commit contempt of Congress. He could lie to Congress. Everybody else, it's a felony. For him, it's the Attorney General's job. Oh, my God. So this bastion of law and order said that, you know, these kids, they're implying, and, you know, some of them have actually straight up said that these kids are somehow thugs and gang members and and that it's amnesty. Sessions called it amnesty. Doesn't amnesty mean to you? Doesn't amnesty mean to me that it's a path to citizenship, or it is citizenship, or it's a forgiveness of something that would allow you then to take the oath to the flag of the United States of America and become a citizen? Well, that's not what DACA is. Oh, hell no. DACA is a work permit and a driver's license to get to work. That's what DACA is. It's no path to citizenship. It isn't anything to do with amnesty. They're just world heavyweight champion liars. And that is what Jeff Sessions called it today. And he was lying to your face. He said that DACA granted unauthorized immigrants the same benefits as Americans, including Social Security. No, it allowed them to pay into Social Security and Medicare. They don't collect. They pay in. And he said it contributed to a surge of minors. That was already going on when Obama announced DACA in 2012. The year before, we had seen a ton of little kids, mostly from Honduras, being dropped off at the border without their parents to escape war, drug war in Honduras. It has become Tagaljagupa. I know I'm saying it wrong. I always say it wrong. I have a feo accento feo. De Nueva York. I could do a little bit better than that. But these kids were being dropped off at the frontera. They were being dropped off at the border by their parents to get them out of a war-torn country. Okay, one of the most Tegucigalpa, which is the capital of Honduras, had become the murder capital of the world. And that's why and that happened way before President Obama did DACA, which he did in 2012, which, by the way, was reviewed by the court. Here's another big stinking lie that was told today, and it's being repeated a lot, and I just want you guys to have it. Okay, the original DACA, which was done by executive action by President Barack Obama, passed the muster of the federal court. It was reviewed by the court. The federal court in Washington, D.C. reviewed it, and it survived. Then in 2014, Obama said, well, if that can survive, and I'm guessing it was on 8 U.S.C. Section 1182F, as in F-U. I'm guessing that it survived in the court because that statute says, and I want you to just remember back to the Muslim ban. Just remember back to the Muslim ban. You remember, see, where they sit depends on where they stand. Where they stand depends on where they sit, which side of the aisle. Because those Republicans, the same ones, the Jeff Sessions of the world, they were all screaming that the president had all the authority to do anything he wanted on immigration by virtue of his executive powers. Remember, the president can do anything he wants on immigration because he's got awesome executive powers. Don't you remember that Donald Trump was out everywhere and he was reading to you? He was reading you a different section of the same section of the U.S. Code. He was reading you 8 U.S. Code. He was reading you 1182. But he was reading you only the first part of it, which said that he can decide anybody is a threat to national security. He can kick out anybody he wants, except the problem was he left out that he couldn't discriminate by race, gender, ethnicity, religion. He left out that part. But if you keep on reading, then you will see that it clearly grants the president broad discretionary authority to control the entry of aliens into the United States, which means that Barack Obama, when he allowed these people who made entry into the United States to apply for work permits and driver's licenses, it was clearly something he was permitted to do with his awesome executive authority. Of course, Trump invoked that executive authority to kick people out, which would have been okay had he not discriminated by religion. See, this is where he effed up. Make a long story short, when DACA was first done by President Barack Obama, it passed muster in the court. The court reviewed it and said it was within his authority to do so. Then he went back and he took a second pass and he thought, if it works for the little kids who came here through no fault of their own, maybe it'll work for the parents who have American-born children so we don't separate the families that way. That's when the federal court in Texas, it matters who hears it, in Texas said, no. The Fifth Circuit upheld the Texas federal court's decision to say no. Then it went to the Supreme Court of the United States, except we only had 8 justices at that time because Mitch McConnell was holding open Merrick Garland's seat. So it came out 4-4. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.